Hello, everyone, and welcome to this FoodBack online talk. This is our fifth talk, I guess, if I remember well. And before start, while people are still joining, feel free to introduce yourself in the chat. Tell us where you are turning from, just to get to know each other a bit better. And some technicalities. This talk will last about 45 minutes and will be streamed on social media. You can drop your questions anytime in the chat, and please do it because this floor is also yours. So don't be shy and drop your question there. First of all, a quick reminder about what is FoodBack. FoodBack is a capacity building project founded by Erasmus Plus, and is designed to empower young people in internship and sustainable food system, let's say, through we had many study visits, training, local workshop that let participants develop 25 business plan that merge food, sustainability, and social innovation. Well, I don't want to lose your time anymore, and I'm going to introduce the topic, the theme of this talk. During this talk today, we are going to explore how rural areas can be an exciting opportunity, let's say, for youth entrepreneurship, especially in the agro-food industry. We will hear from someone who took this path already and built a business, rotated in tradition and innovation too. And he did in his own village here in Spain, in Castilla y León, in the province of Burgos, in Santa Ines.
Oh, yes.
That is a little village. So I will pass the floor to Fernando. First of all, a brief introduction also about him. Fernando Santamaría del Hoyo is an industrial engineer with a master in business management administration, but he has a great passion about winemaking. And 7 years ago, he began study viticulture, combining knowledge with modern sustainable technique. And he co-founded, signed his name, Bodegas Decorus, a winery dedicated to reviving local winemaking while tracking the challenge of rural depopulation. So, Fernando, welcome, and thank you to be here with us. And you can start to just introduce yourself and telling us a bit more about your journey from engineering to wine entrepreneur. It's a long journey, I think. Tell us a bit more about you, and thank you again.
I studied electronic engineering, and at the end I was working in Renault. In Renault Valladolid, I had my career prepared. I only had to work well and could be a good career. But at the end, I was, I don't know, I have to do something different. Every weekend, I want to go back to my village. And I began to talk with my partner, with Luis, that we like wine, we could do something, and we began to make little things. We began to make a wine. We made a little quantity, and it was the beginning. And then every year we made a little more, and until now.
Okay, thank you. So you said basically that you wanted to go back all the time to the village, no?
Yeah.
But would be interesting, for example, if you tell a little bit more about the story of Bodegas Decorus that you already mentioned.
Oh, yeah. Well, in the chorus, me and Luis, we began. How can I say? For example, we don't have lands. We didn't have a space, and we began to talk with people of my village and village around, uh, because there are a lot of old people that make his own wine, but they are older, they are very old, and they can't continue to make wine. And every year we take a few wine jars more of people that they can't make his own wine, and we take a few parcels, perhaps 200 meter squares, and of people that can't make his own wine anymore. And every year, little to little, we began to have lands, and then we found a place for make wine. 5 years ago, the regulation of Lerma of Atlanta, they give us the quality stamp, and then we introduce like a business. That it was a difficult thing, but and then we had wine for shelf. We began making wine for us because we like, and then we make was 1 year that the regulation give us a quality with the quality regulations, and then we said, okay, we can sell wine. Okay. And at the beginning, we have 2 jobs. We was working in our job, and every weekend we was making wine, and every time more and more and more, until we have to abandon our old jobs.
That is a good thing, actually, because it means that was working well.
Yes.
So just to summarize a little bit, and to give to all of you a background, let's say that Bodegas Decorus is a winery that is in Santa Ynez, in the province of Burgos, in Castilla y León. And Luis and Fernando, they started in their business how many years ago, Fernando? That now I don't remember.
I think with regulation, I think 5 years. So, but we began 7 years ago. Okay. At the beginning, we make wine in the garage.
Yeah.
For sell friends and.
It's what I was going to mention, because when I saw your website for the first time, it's really nice how it's described that how you started the business. Oh, the winery in the garage is literally written there. It's super nice way to read it. It's super enjoyable, the website. And yes, so 7 years ago, they started, 2 friends, young people. How old you were at the time when you started?
How old?
How old you were when you started?
Sorry.
Your age when you started.
Okay, my age. I think that 33. Yeah, 7 years ago. Yeah.
Okay, so 33 with his best friend in their own village. They started from a garage because they enjoyed wine and they wanted to go back every weekend. So they started to produce wine, they were consuming it. Then they realized that, well, the production was increasing, also because what is special about this winery is that all people around the village, they had vineyard, but they are not cultivating them anymore because or they are old or they don't have more the time. So Fernando and Luis, what they are doing is just keeping, asking them if they can cultivate that yard. They
Yeah.
started like this, collecting piece by piece, and now you have quite a lot of vineyards, and you arrive at that point that you can produce more, and you ask to get the label and to enter into the market. Just to summarize, it's what happened. And I wanted to ask you, what challenges did you face in reviving old vineyards, launching a new wine, let's say, a new wine brand? The challenges.
Oh, well, for recover old land, you need around 3 years for the place produce again, and then for production should be complicated. Then it's impossible to work with the tractor, and that is one of the reason of nobody wants to do it. And people, sometimes you have to ask to a lot of people if they want to lend you the land. You have to know the place, you have to know the people of your village and the people of all the villages of the region. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we go a lot of the bars, a lot of the pubs of every village, asking, and I think that's the little problems for beginning.
Okay. So basically, it's something that came out also yesterday from the talks that we had yesterday. All the people, they were talking about relations, connections, that what is important now, especially in rural areas, is that to start something, that something could be related to business or also an initiative, an activities or whatever, you need connection. You need to build, first of all, your network, talk with people, and it's what you are also highlighting now. Okay.
Yeah.
And another question that I would like to ask you is that how can rural areas, because we are talking about them now, create real opportunities for young people, for young entrepreneurs?
Uh, because I think that there are a lot of jobs in villages for people that want to work. Because you can you can't do the same jobs that in the cities. There are no factories or big different commerces. But if you want to work, there are a lot of things to do, and there are because in the rural areas are different professions. There are a lot of things to do. Wherever you can imagine, in forest, in forests, in agriculture, in a lot of things.
And do you,
But for people that want to work,
of course, and do you think it's easier for someone that want to be an entrepreneur, start something by its own in rural areas to do that than in, let's say?
for me, if you have a village or your family has a village, I don't know. You can if you can begin in the grandma house. I think if you have a place, could be easier. Or if you have family, but if you don't have family, uh, if you are happy and you are and you are smile and and you speak with the people, could be there is no problem for begin with. If you arrive to any village, houses are very cheap, and I think that you have if you are if you smile, there is no problem with the local people.
So basically, your advices, let's say, get
Yeah.
relation.
Yeah,
Get good
basically, yeah.
relation inside the villages or rural areas in general. Then, if you have a family there, it's even better because you can get house or anyway starter for free or at least for a little money. But then it's also you're willing to do the things. If you
Yeah.
work, you can
For
get
example, in that, you know, in Spain there is a problem with housing people. In Madrid, people that earn around 1,500, and they said, "Oh, my house cost me 1,000 every month." In the village, you can rent a house for 200, a house for a good house for live, 200. It's a good price, and or you can try to do it your own home. That is a funny project too.
So also it's needed to mention that start something in villages, rural areas could be cheaper also because you can have rent
Yeah.
places for a cheapest price. Okay, thank you so much. Just to connect this and continue with our
Yes,
talk, we can say, I mean, that usually what we listen in television and also from the people talking is that the rural areas, we have lack of professional opportunities. You said that, for example, if you want to work, you can do whatever you want, but we lack of professional opportunities for someone to grow up to continue with his own professional. In your story, you said that you are an engineer, that you could have a good career inside the multinational company, but then you decide that you wanted to go back to your village because it's where you were happy during weekends. And there you started with the recovery of vineyard and making your own wine. Do you think that for people like you could be a personal growth, decide to be an entrepreneur, to start from a passion, to build, to start with a business, to be something, I mean, that can develop them professionally also, or not?
Yeah, you can begin to anything professional. Um, for me, you don't need if you can go once a week to the city. I don't know if you need anything special, but in you have to separate. It's like if you want to work in a great multinational, you have to work in a capital. But there are a lot of things that you can do in the village. Mm, you have you for example, you have the different opportunities. If you want to be, I don't know. Es que sorry,
We can say it in Spanish. I can translate it.
no. It's that you ask me a lot of things and I lose all the things that.
No,
If you can ask me more shortly.
shorter. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go back first to Bodega Decorus in general,
Yeah.
no? Just
Yeah.
to have a bigger picture about what is Bodega Decorus. Okay, Bodega Decorus focus on organic by
Yeah.
viticulture. micro vinification. Could you explain what means this? I mean, because not all the people knows what is micro vinification.
Yeah, for example, we focus in the quality of the wine, and because we have small lands, we work with the wine. We separate every every kind of wine in different small deposits. Then in the big wineries, they have biggest deposits with, I don't know, 100,000 liters of wine, and we have a small deposits of 500 liters, 200 liters. We have pues, a lot of small deposits separating qualities. For qualities, for varieties, and for different things that what we think is it's good to have separated wine. And with that, we control all the process of every small land. And if we think that a small deposit don't check all the quality that we want, we separate it, but we separate 200 liters. We don't have to throw 20,000 liters or whatever that big wineries make.
And well, the next question is connected. You already answered half of it, but why did you choose this method?
It's because in our case we can compete. We can't
compete.
Oh yeah, we can't compete with the big wineries in price or in quantity. We only can compete in quality, and then we have to make the wine with the best quality that we can. It's the only thing that we can do. We don't have quantity, and we don't have price. Okay. We only have the best quality.
So basically, this way to do the things is exactly addressed to your market, to your target, and it's what you can do with the resources that you have, basically. Okay, and the next question is also connected, because I wanted to ask, how do traditional winemaking techniques, because you said that you were talking with the old people in the village, trying to understand how they were making wine in the past, and how you can connect this traditional technique with modern sustainable practices in your work.
Yeah, well, as I told you, that we began taking the lands of the old people of the villages, and they always told us different things. The best thing to do that is this way, or and on the one hand, we listened to the old people, and in the other hand, we began to study viticulture in a modern school, and we compare what old people do and the modern techniques tell us. We choose and we decide. And sometimes there are things that we think that old people make better, and there are other things that we think that we have to change.
Okay. Okay, thank you. And the next question is also connected. Then we are going to start to answer questions in the chat. So again, feel free to write there whatever you like to listen the answer. And the next question is, do you think that there are trends in wine? Do you think that which are the key trends in sustainable wine production now that, I mean, future entrepreneurs, that someone that would like to do what you did should
Mhm.
take into account? We have key trend because you said before we can compete just in little quantity and really huge and really good quality. No?
Mhm.
What do you would like to suggest to someone that passionate about wine that would
Mhm.
like to do exactly what you did?
Uh, I think that they can begin like us. They can begin making wine in the garage and trying. I think that the first year they can try to make 100 liters. Um, well, there are two ways to begin. For example, in my case, I was working 1 year in the cooperative too. I learned how to make great quantities of wine, and is the other way uh, to see how other people make it. And but I think and if you are not responsible of your job, you don't learn at all. I think that you need to be responsible. Then, if you have a little land, you see how the plants growing. We decide what treatments you make in your plants. You decide how you make your wine, and you see the result. Is how you learn. And I said, you don't do that with 100, 1,000 meters of wine jars. Don't do that with 100,000 liters of wine. You can do that with a little quantities. You try with 1 year, the next year you take the twice of land, you take the twice of liters. And with it, for example, I tried, I think four things in the village. I tried to with bees that I had bees already. I tried to with trees that I have a little forest. I tried different things, but I tried little quantities. I began with 2 houses of bees. I see what happened, and then the next year I take uh, another 2 houses of bees, and until now that I have eight houses. For example, in Spain, the subvention for beginners, I think, is 300 houses of bees.
Guys. Okay.
Uh, for the first year with that, I think that you can't do it anything. Or in wine, I think that the subvention they give you for 10 hectares of wineland. And 10 hectares, it's a lot of for me. It's a lot of for me and my partner for both. And I think for one person, his first year, it's impossible
Manage.
to have them 10 hectares of grapes. Then I think that you have to forget the subvention, forget um, all the government plans, and take a little land, try it. When if it's going well, the next year take more land and continue.
Okay. Thank you. I was surprised when you were talking that came to my mind a lot of stuff that yesterday we were talking about rural areas already, and there are many similarities of what you are saying now and what we have listened yesterday. You mentioned training, that you need to, I mean, create your own skills. So try to learn from someone else, go to courses, because you mentioned that you went to courses with Luis. Also, then you mentioned networking, talk with people, build relations, and
Yeah.
be friendly with these people and ask, because if you will need help, maybe they are going to help you.
Yeah, that should be a problem if you are not of the village that we choose. I don't know, for example, in my village, but in every village. In my village, perhaps are living, I don't know, 30 people. 30 people that have living there around 15, 16, well, all their lives. And then is coming someone new, making crazy things, and all the lands are for all that people, and or lands, for example, sometimes the lands, the owner is someone that is living in Barcelona or wherever, and you have to contact with them through these families, someone that is in the village already. And then you have to know people, know connection, and explain that that you are that, for example, in our case, at the beginning, old people was crazy with us because you don't work the land like our like is that like in the way that they have to, that they think that is the way to make it. And it was a little problem. Now 7 years later, that they see that our wines are in important places, in good restaurants, they think different. They don't like it, but they accept it.
Okay, this is okay. And I wanted to mention also related to this that yesterday we were listening a lot also about diversification, that you want to be an entrepreneur or start to build something. Rural areas is also important that you start from a little thing and then you diversify your job. You were talking about you have wine, but you have also beehives. You have also a food forest, and yesterday also was mentioning that is the diversification is important. And now I saw that we already have many questions in the chat, so we are going to start with them. The first question is from Roger, that is asking, tomorrow is World Water Day, which lends me to ask Fernando how they are managing water. Do they have a water user association? This agreed international obligation to establish water management structure at the lowest level. So, how do you manage water in Bodegas Decorus?
In our case, wine don't need water, and we work with the weather. If it's raining, it's okay. If it's not raining, it's okay. In our case, I think other people could be complicated.
Okay,
In Castilla, it's not raining all that people want.
so you are saying that wine.
With grapes, we don't have that problem.
Okay, you are saying that wine doesn't need water. I mean, in your way to make wine, I suppose.
Yeah, if the year that is not raining, wine is better. We get less grapes, but it's more quality. Then we haven't got a problem with raining.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So we can continue with another question from Joe that is asking, how is tax for wine production in Spain? In Italy, wine is taxed on actual sales and quantities. Don't need to be declared until one M, that Joe means 1 million liters, or what? Million liters.
Here we pay taxes for every bottle. We pay taxes for making wine. We pay taxes for land. 4 bottles in the winery, but a little in every place, a little, and then the general taxes of the government, the other taxes. But I think €1 more or less of every bottle could be taxes.
Okay,
But it's other thing is you have to gain with that.
yeah, I think we were already talking many times about this, that, for example, I mean, because Italy is famous, I mean, we have a lot of wine and they let people basically managing grapes and create their own wine for own consumption, no?
Mhm.
And that's why until a limit there are no taxes, but here every one bottle you said more or less €1 goes to tax.
Yeah, if you have, for example, we have the quality stamp of Arlanza, then the stamp costs money for have grapes in Arlanza, for making everything. Only you have the Arlanza quality, have his taxes, and then the government, the IVA, all the taxes of the government is apart.
It's apart. Okay, thank you. Then we have a question from Ivana. From what I say in France, there is a clash between farmers from rural area and new farmers coming from urban area, Parisian, for example. That they want to change career and reconnect with nature. How was it for you? What was the perception of other farmers on your project? What is it to find this connection? You and Ivana said you already answered about this, but I was to build connection with other farmers, other people that were making wine around you at the beginning.
How's the connection of I think that there are perhaps two kind of connection. On the one hand, in the province, in the Burgos area, within villages, that we know a lot of people that make things similar of us, or different projects, not of winery, but different projects that we know people that they think like us and they make things like we like. And then is the local village. When you are in your village, you are the only guy that make things like we do. The people are working like, I don't know. I can't explain how people works in the land. Then there are the two ways of connection between villages with people that think like you, and we help each other, and the local people that it's a good people too. You have to tell they think different, but they are good people too, and they can help you of different things.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
thank you. And before we wrap up, Fernando, just in one word, what is your advice for young people that would like to be an entrepreneur in rural areas and make something different? In one,
Uh,
this is a super difficult question. Just in one word,
try.
try. Okay, thank you so much, Fernando, for
Okay.
your time, your insight, and to tell us your story and to tell us a bit more about Bodega Decorus. I invite you all to check the website and to try the wine because it's amazing. And what else? I would like to thank you, the audience, also, and for the question that you were writing in the chat. And I would like to encourage you to stay connected with the FoodBack project. Check the website, check the business plan of the young people that were participating in this project, and of course, stay connected with the other talks that we will have during this afternoon. And I would like to end this whole, like, say, well, just because we already had two different talks about rural areas and how they could be an opportunity, let's say, for young people to become entrepreneurs. Just to say, rural areas have an incredible potential for young entrepreneurs. And I would like to invite you to keep exploring those opportunities by knowing people that they already took these opportunities. So thank you, Fernando, again. And
Thank
thank
you to
you
you too.
all of you. Bye bye. See you in the next talk.
Bye. See you.